They say the average wedding costs $47,000. Mine cost exactly that much. And I wasn't even invited. Here's a better question. How much would you pay to teach someone the real price of betrayal? Because I can show you the exact receipt. 3 years together. Moved in after year 2. Talked about marriage. The whole future-building package. Until I found the messages. Not recent. 6 months of conversations. With someone from their office. Detailed, explicit. Plans to leave me, but wait for the right timing. I didn't confront them. I did something smarter. I documented everything. 2 weeks later, I initiated the breakup. Clean, mature. We grew apart. They looked relieved, like they dodged having to be the bad guy. 3 months later, I saw the engagement announcement. To the person from the messages. That's when most people would post the screenshots. Blow it up publicly. Burn it all down immediately. But I'm not most people. I wanted something better than a moment of public shame. I wanted structural collapse. So I waited. And I started planning. I reached out 4 months before the wedding. Friendly. Mature. I heard congratulations are in order. We met for coffee. I told them I'd processed everything, moved on, found closure. And as a gesture of that closure, I wanted to offer something. I'd cover the wedding costs. Their immediate response was no. Too generous, too weird. But I played it perfectly. Consider it my way of closing that chapter well. You deserve a beautiful wedding. Let me do this. It took 3 conversations, but they accepted. Here's where it gets interesting. I didn't just hand them money. I became the financial coordinator. Set up a wedding LLC. All vendor contracts ran through companies I controlled. On paper, they were choosing everything. In reality, every contract had my signature. Every payment went through my accounts. Every cancellation clause was mine to trigger. Venue, $12,000. Premium waterfront location. Catering, $18,000 for 200 guests. $6,000 for photography. $4,000 for the DJ. $5,000 in Florals. Every vendor was top tier. Because this wasn't about giving them a bad wedding, it was about giving them the perfect wedding to lose. 3 months out, I paid the deposits. 2 months out, I approved the final menu. 1 month out, I confirmed every detail. 1 week out, I prepared the folder. Every screenshot, every message, every date, every lie, professionally printed and organized. Here's the thing about vendor contracts. If you're the one paying, you can negotiate anything, including same-day cancellation rights for unforeseen circumstances. Every contract had it. Every vendor agreed to it. None of them thought it would actually be used. Wedding day, 200 guests, perfect weather. The venue looked incredible. Flowers everywhere, string quartet playing, everything they'd dreamed of. I arrived 30 minutes before the ceremony, not as a guest, as a coordinator checking final details. Nobody questioned it. The folder was in my jacket. The cancellation notices were queued in my email. All I had to do was wait for the right moment. The ceremony started at 2:47. They stood at the altar. The officiant started the script. We are gathered here today. I walked down the side aisle, calm, professional, like I belonged there. For the vows, I stepped forward, handed them the folder, said loud enough for the first 3 rows to hear, I think you should read this before you make any promises. They opened it. Front page was a timeline, 6 months of cheating, names, dates, screenshots below. At that exact second, I hit send on my phone. 7 cancellation emails, every vendor simultaneously. 15 seconds later, the venue coordinator's phone started ringing, then the caterers, then the photographers. The venue coordinator walked up mid-folder reading. I'm sorry, but we've received cancellation of the rental contract. You need to clear the space within 1 hour. The caterers started packing the food. The DJ stopped the music. The photographer put his camera away. The florist started collecting centerpieces. 200 guests watched it happen in real time. No one knew why. Until page 3 of the folder started getting passed around. 6 minutes. That's how long it took for a $47,000 wedding to completely dissolve. I walked out before they could process what had happened. Didn't wait for the confrontation. Didn't need to see the aftermath up close. The folder said everything. The empty venue said the rest. Here's what it cost them. $15,000 in lost deposits they thought were paid, but weren't. $8,000 in breach of contract lawsuits from family members who'd helped fund parts they thought I was covering. $12,000 in guest travel reimbursements after the public humiliation. And that's just the financial part. The folder circulated. Every guest had seen the evidence by end of day. Screenshots got shared. The story spread. Last I heard, they'd moved to a different city, new jobs, started over, because nobody from that wedding has spoken to them since. Not the guests, not the wedding party, not even some of their own family. People ask if I regret spending $47,000 on revenge, if it was worth it. Here's my answer. I didn't spend it on revenge. I spent it on a lesson about the real cost of betrayal, about what happens when you build a future on someone else's pain. They wanted a dream wedding. They got a public execution instead, and I got exactly what I paid for.